Welcome to Fertilish, the podcast where we get real about fertility, infertility, and everything in between. I'm Laura.
And I'm Brandis. And whether you're knee-deep in treatments, just starting to ask questions, or somewhere in the ish of it all, you're in the right place.
Here we ditch the stigma, break down the science, and have candid conversations about the messy, emotional, and sometimes hilarious journey to growing a family and preserving your fertility.
So grab your coffee, your meds, or just your curiosity, and let's get into it.
Hey Brandis, welcome back to another episode of Fertilish Podcast. I'm super excited about today's episode. TMI Tuesday has turned into a full episode.
Yeah, so just reading an anonymous submissions that people have sent in all about, their stories about trying to conceive, IVF, going through the trying to conceive process.
Yeah, I certainly appreciate our listeners being vulnerable and submitting their hilariously chaotic stories to us for us to read aloud to our other listeners. We know that this process can be super difficult, but just finding the hilarity is the word, to the process, sometimes at your own expense.
Yeah, and you always you always hear about the hard side of IVF, that a lot of times, or even trying to conceive, that you don't, it's good to, I think, find humor in some of the process for sure.
Absolutely. It is, it's a must for me.
Yes, I agree. So we have a couple. I guess we'll just start reading through them one by one and start there.
Okay. Sounds good. We were trying, the whole let's make it sexy even though we're on a schedule thing. I reached into the nightstand without looking, trying to keep the mood alive, and grabbed what I thought was lube. It was not. Within seconds, he started yelling. I started yelling. There was screaming. There was sprinting to the bathroom. There was ice, and there were tears. Moral of the story: check the label before things get slippery. Also, why do I even own Icy Hot?
Oh, ow. Yeah.
I bet that got very interesting.
That reminds me of, do you remember that show Sex Sent Me to the ER?
Yes.
Somebody had, they decided to play with Pop Rocks, and this woman had Pop Rocks stuck in her vagina inside on the vaginal wall, and it was burning, obviously, because I guess it was popping.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, and he was the doctor
There's
was
a whole chemical reaction that happens.
Yeah, he was I can rinse you out, but the ones that are in there are gonna have to just finish popping, because and I will forever remember that, because I think I was watching it with my mom. It's one of those late night shows that comes on, and it's oh my gosh. So I imagine that's a similar sensation.
Yeah, I can only imagine. And Icy Hot's hard to get off. Even whenever you wipe it off and you think it's gone, it's not gone. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure that was probably, it was a while before things returned to normal.
Yeah. So anyway, don't keep that in your.
It's a mood killer, I'm sure.
Never mind.
Yeah, just kidding. Next month.
I know that'd be horrible. Okay, here's another one. When Aunt Flo showed up at Disneyland again. We were at Disneyland trying to enjoy our post-transfer magical vibes trip. I was sure it worked. I'd even worn a future mama shirt. Then my period showed up while we were waiting in line for Dumbo. I bled through my shorts, cried in the teacups, and ate 3 churros out of spite.
Oh.
I think this kind of goes back to that toxic positivity thing that you felt about you feel you have to be positive about everything. You have every symptom, and it's just, it could be from the progesterone, and if you're not positive, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't work, and it's everything comes crashing down when the period shows up.
Yeah, and I like told myself that I couldn't feel real emotions and real feelings through this process because if I didn't remain just, you know, super chipper and sunshine, Susan Sunshine, that I like, and I feel like Susans keep getting strays, and I apologize. Like I've used the name Susan on a form, like as a form, and I love Susans. Have no problem with Susans. I apologize. I think the term is actually Susie Sunshine. So also apologize to Susie's. But I think it's like, you know, if you're telling yourself that, like, if you don't just remain just like super positive, you're not even allowing yourself to like feel the emotions that you're feeling because you feel like if I, you know, let any breath out, if I don't hold my breath out the whole process, that it's going to go wrong. But it like doesn't have anything to do with it. Like you can do all the things and not say one negative thing or think one negative thought and it could still possibly not work out.
Yeah.
And then you could just be like negative Nancy and sorry to the Nancys.
Yeah.
And then it could work perfectly for you. So, you know, I do think that there's like a good healthy amount of like manifestation and obviously like, you know, you want to like keep your mind healthy, but part of that is just like being like allowing yourself to feel real feelings. So
yeah. And you know, when you bring up not your fault, the transfer doesn't work. Same thing with miscarriages and pregnancies that don't make it to term. Nothing you did and nothing you could have done could have prevented that or made something work or not work. So super important point there.
Yes, absolutely. Like it is not your fault. This is not your fault. You know, like don't let anyone tell you otherwise, even your own self. Like it's like not your fault at all. Yeah, it's never your fault.
Yes. Is yours? Yes.
Yeah. So the next one says, we were feeling spiritual about our embryo transfer. I made a whole custom playlist to set the vibe. We walked in the room, everyone's chill, and I hand over the phone to the embryologist to connect to the Bluetooth speaker. First song, WAP by Cardi B. Loud, uncensored, first line hits like a truck. Everyone froze. My husband dropped his head. The embryologist paused and then calmly said, "Interesting choice. Would you like me to skip it?" I said no. I figured if we're going to manifest a baby, we're going to do it with a wet-ass positivity.
Yeah, that's hilarious. You want to know, like, something funny is I guarantee you that would, like, RMAs, so it's usually in an embryo transfer room. It's usually me and an MA. Honestly, that would probably get a big laugh out of everyone.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And you'd get like no, we could keep this on.
Yeah,
because they're listening
no judgment,
to that.
For sure.
They're listening to that at their desks. Anyway, so, and you know what's like so funny is one time, geez, this was like around when I first started, somebody had their phone connected to Bluetooth in the OR, and WAP came on and I think our CRNA at the time, like, had never heard that song. And he was like, "What is this?" And it was like, so that's super funny. But no need to be embarrassed about music because...
Oh, right. Yeah, we're real people that have real music taste.
that literally listened to that on the way in and then wish your baby dust later. So...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, that's so funny. And we always encourage your fun music choices.
For sure.
Okay. Here's the guy side of things. My husband had to bring a sample in for testing. He did it. He labeled it, he drove it in, and then fumbled it in the parking lot. It rolled under another car. He had to get on the ground to grab it.
Oh, God.
By the time he got inside, the front desk lady looked at the cup, then at him, and said, "Is it still warm?" He said yes. She raised an eyebrow. We don't talk about it. So, that is always, like, such a common thing people bring up as, like, the embarrassing part of a fertility treatment. Like, I've had people say, when I walked out of that room. I feel like everyone knows what I just did in there. And
Yeah.
it's like, you know how many times I've seen people, like, we always see people walk out of, like, the collection rooms, and it's like, I don't think twice about it. Like, and I know no one else does
You
here.
just feel like the spotlight's on you.
Yeah, but it's because it's you. It's different.
Yeah, absolutely. Like my husband makes me go in with him, and then, I'm like, like when I walk back out, I'm like, you're judging me harder than you're judging.
And it's at a place where you work. So.
No, I never do semen analysis at CNY.
Okay.
We have to go to a different clinic. That's where I draw the line.
Okay, that's fair.
I do draw the line there. Like, no. Well, then when he found out about the at-home semen analysis kit, I think I've said this before, like, he was like, excuse me, like, why didn't we do that? And I was like, because it's the least you could do, okay? Like, it's the least. So I have an OBGYN that I visit their clinic. They're like, they like see our patients, some of our patients in South Carolina. And he was telling me a story about, he and his wife went through IVF. And so he was doing a semen analysis by the lab at the hospital. So, like, their OBGYN clinic is attached to, like, a hospital system.
Uh-huh.
And so he collected it home, and then he was taking it in to the lab for analysis. And he was like, I put it in a paper bag or whatever. Well, he is, like, a known physician at this hospital. He delivers, like, lots of babies. Yeah. And, nurses know him, like, the front desk staff know him, like, the information desk, whatever, lab people. And so he's like, I'm, like, in plain clothes, like, he said, I have a hat on, like, I'm trying not to be bothered, or not bothered, but acknowledged, just, like, need to get this to the lab.
Yeah.
And so he was like, I'm walking through the hospital with a paper bag under my arm full of my sperm. And all these people are like, hey, Dr. So-and-so, hey, Dr. So-and-so, like, trying to have conversations. And he's like, I just have this sperm under my arm, like, trying to get to the lab. Like, please, for God's sakes, not today.
Yeah. Well, and so, good point, though. You can, if you don't want to collect here, you can collect if you're staying at a hotel or your house and bring it in as long as you have a sterile cup and it's brought to us within the hour. That's an option too. So if you feel like it's going to be an issue to where you can't collect because it's awkward for you or for whatever reason, yeah, you can bring it in.
Yeah, absolutely. We have lots of patients that come from other states even, and so they're at a hotel nearby, one of our clinics, like, and so they'll bring in the sample from the hotel that morning and then come in for their egg retrievals or, lots of different ways to do it.
Yes. All right.
So the next one says, every fertility group said to eat pineapple core post-transfer, but they didn't say how much. So I ate the whole damn pineapple. Core, flesh, juice, everything. Day 1, fine. Day 2, my mouth felt like I'd licked sandpaper. Day 3, I Googled, can pineapple cause chemical burns while holding a bag of frozen peas to my tongue? Did it help him implantation? Who knows? But I definitely couldn't taste anything for a week.
Pineapple, I one of those pineapple drinks at the fair. I got one of those before, and it made my tongue feel raw. I thought I was allergic to it.
Yes, yeah, it's so acidic that I love pineapple. Like, I could just literally sit and eat pineapple, but it does start when my tongue starts tingling. I'm like, all right, let me go put it back in the refrigerator. It's so acidic, it will just tear the inside of your mouth up. I mean, my cheeks have been kind of raw before from eating so much pineapple. So eating a whole pineapple.
I can't even imagine. And there's something, and I know about this because my dad has it, but people have, have you seen this? There's their tongue split.
Oh, yeah.
It'll split open. So anytime my dad eats, pineapple core or anything acidic, he can go like this with his tongue, and it, literally splits in half.
Down the middle, yeah.
Yes, and I'm like, oh my gosh. But yeah, pineapple's definitely a popular thing in the fertility community, and it's because the bromelain, it has bromelain that's anti-inflammatory, and that's kind of where that came from. But are you going to have a failed transfer if you don't eat pineapple or don't have pineapple smoothies every day? No.
Right. That's right. That's right. Yeah, it's not a make or break type of thing.
Okay, another one. I went to Target after my PIO injection, so progesterone and oil, a super thick injection after embryo transfer. Feeling cute, walking through the candle aisle, when I felt something drip, like a lot of something. I checked in the bathroom, and yep, my leggings had a huge greasy spot right in the center of my butt, like someone had poured salad dressing down my spine. I spent 20 minutes trying to blow dry my ass under the hand dryer. A teenage girl walked in, saw me, and slowly backed out. So, I feel like in nursing school they teach you a Z-track where you have to move the skin, do the injection. That way when you move it, when it goes back, it kind of keeps it from leaking back out. But PIO shots are hard.
Yeah, I always recommend to keep the needle, don't just pull it right back out. Like keep the needle in the skin for a few seconds to allow it time to absorb. That does help definitely with backflow, but there's still going to be a little bit of that does kind of come out of the injection site, but I feel like not nearly as much for sure.
Yeah, I feel like heat after is super helpful, and then kind of massaging it after, so that way you're not getting big lumps.
Those little massage guns work well. The
Theraguns.
Yeah.
Or...
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, to help obviously some of them the little ball that's kind of soft that goes on the end, I feel like is a good because it's not hard, it doesn't hurt, and you can obviously apply whatever amount of pressure that you're comfortable with, but I feel like that it helps with or I have found that I've used it myself, and then I've found that other patients that I recommended it to, that they were oh, or that that actually went through getting one, that they were I feel like that really helped a lot. But yeah, heat for sure. Yeah, but it is oily.
I feel like the auto injectors, people say help a lot too, especially if you have to do it on your own. Or some people say they have their partner help, which is very brave, because I don't feel like I would be able to give myself an IM injection, let alone let somebody who is not medical give me an no.
So I bought an auto injector long time ago when I first started. I tried to use it one time, and I did think that it was super neat that I had the little light on there and the guide. But I literally tried one time, and I was this feels like it was just more complicated to me, and so I just was just all right, I'm just better off just
doing it yourself.
Yeah, but I think obviously the first one is a little nerve-wracking. By number 5, you're oh, no big deal. And if it's your second transfer or subsequent more than that, I feel that you're just I don't even have to look anymore. I can just...
Yeah, see, and I could do the stim injections, no problem, because I did this, but man, the PIO ones, I don't know, those are pretty big, those look rough. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Let's see. Oh, it's your turn.
I read the PIO one, right?
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Lord. Okay. I got deep into manifestation, scary deep. I bought a $72 yoni crystal from Etsy, charged it under a full moon, and did a guided womb awakening meditation while wearing a fertility bracelet and drinking moon water. I don't even know what moon water is.
Interesting.
My husband caught me whispering affirmations to my uterus and said, "Babe, are you okay?" I told him, "I'm aligned with my womb." He said, "You're aligned with a scam." I still wore the bracelet and still got the BFP.
Whatever it takes.
That's right.
And what's crazy is that patient will come back and say, well, I have to pay that Etsy person again, or I have to get that yoni thing again because I did it and it worked. And
That's
really,
right.
It was just the right embryo.
Yeah.
But so superstition
everything
is everything.
Aligned, including the moon water.
Now that you bring that up, I don't even know if we... have mentioned this before, we probably have, but I always see TikTok videos of people saying like, oh, this Etsy witch I hired, and
I see them on TikTok too.
Yeah, and they'll tell you about your fertility.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they'll put a spell so you get pregnant. They have all kinds of things on Etsy. And so I was like, okay, so I looked this up, and it's actually a thing. Like, there's witches on there that do all this stuff.
Yeah, and then there's like the fertility psychics on TikTok that like supposedly will like tell you when you're gonna get pregnant, what you're gonna have, when you're gonna give birth, blah 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 blah. I feel scam, even though I knew it. I just like was curious, like, well, what will she say?
Yeah. I mean, it'd be interesting. I think it's kind of at the point sometimes where it's like, well, this isn't gonna hurt, so like, why not try it?
Well, yeah, let me just Venmo you $25 and just see what you have to say, like,
yeah,
which is anything, but
yeah, there are a lot of like,
I mean, I guess you have a 50-50 chance. Like, you're either gonna have a boy or a girl. She's got a 50-50 chance of getting that right. Like,
yeah. I know there are so many like scammy things out there that it's like, oh my goodness, but people do it because you get in these positions where it's like you're desperate to try anything, and people know that. So
yeah, absolutely, yeah, and I mean, yeah, like don't get taken advantage of, but if it's something that like helps you pass the time and makes you, gives you a little entertainment, that's what it should be. It should be entertainment. If it gives you a little entertainment and that, hey, cool.
Sure. All right, so I'm at work, corporate office, glass walls, zero privacy. I'm in my ovulation prime, so I sneak an ovulation predictor kit into my purse like I'm carrying contraband. I pee on it in the office bathroom, then wrap it in toilet paper and set it on the counter while I wash my hands. I forget it. 10 minutes later, my boss comes out of the bathroom holding it like it's evidence in a crime scene and says, I think someone left a COVID test in the bathroom. Should we call HR? I nodded, mortified, then avoided eye contact for 3 weeks. So... I'm very guilty of taking OPKs at work, for sure. And sneaking them either into my pocket, in my bra, whatever. Sneaking to the bathroom, taking one. Then I'm like, oh God, I've been in here for too long. So what's so funny is, so we make, obviously, TikTok videos here all the time representing, what it's like to go through the process, different things. And we needed a positive pregnancy test for a video. And so, obviously, we were not going to get a marker and, scribble it in because that would look generic. And so we looked up ways to make a positive pregnancy test because, again, we needed it for a video. And there was a TikTok that said Coke will make a pregnancy test positive, and one of the girls happened to have Coke here. So we were like, all right. So we poured it in a cup. We dipped it. It came back positive. It does turn it positive.
What?
Yeah, don't use this knowledge for bad.
Right. I was like, oh, God.
Disclaimer. But it came back positive. So whatever, we were able to use it. And one of our MAs, Allie, threw it in the trash. And I don't remember who it was. It was a while ago. Walked in the bathroom and was like, who's pregnant?
And didn't know
there's this positive test. And didn't know and we were like, oh, it was for a video. That's literally, it was for a video. And they're like, uh-huh.
Yeah.
You just made a positive pregnancy. And we're like, no, really, it was for a video. And so that's funny. But yeah.
I actually saw a TikTok not too long ago where someone had planted, at work, playing a prank on her coworkers, had planted a positive pregnancy test and right on top of the
trash.
In the bathroom. And they had kind of an open, the bathroom is right off of their open workspace, and they had cubicles where you could see everything going on and hear everything going on. And so one by one, people were going to the bathroom and throughout the day or whatever, and she had set up her camera or her phone or whatever to record, and some of them were bringing it out I don't remember if it was the actual test or if it was just the box. But regardless, pregnancy test, and kind of coming out looking around who is
See, and it was like that here for a while, and people would just look at each other do you want to go out for drinks afterwards?
Right.
So, anyway, we were...
Sure, I'll have a ginger ale.
Yeah, so that was a thing for a while. Oh, go ahead.
I keep forgetting if it's my turn or yours.
I
don't know.
This. I know, I do too.
I was at my baseline scan, legs in stirrups, ultrasound wand doing its thing, and the nurse goes, "All right, mama, almost done." I blacked out. Like, ma'am, we're 7 follicles, 4 failed cycles, and a prayer away from that being true. My uterus heard that and probably curled in on itself.
Oh. And that is the worst, I think, when you, and I've probably had moments like that where you say something and then you realize later, like, oh, or you realize in the moment and it's like a foot in the mouth moment.
Yeah.
Because I think, like, people say mama all the time as, like, a way
Oh, yeah, say it to my
talk.
dog. Like,
yeah. Yeah. And it's like, but then when you say it here, it's obviously in a different context.
Yes, absolutely. Like, yeah. And it can, like, one day it could come across as, like, just like a term of endearment, and another day, like, on the wrong day, like, it could come across as, like, oh, a gut punch.
Yeah, well, and this is, like, not a mama thing, but I know I say this on consults because sometimes I'll catch people laugh, and I mean to rephrase it every time it comes out of my mouth, but people will say, okay, is my husband going to give his sample? When does he give his sample for my retrieval? And it always comes out of my mouth of, like, oh, when your husband comes with you on the day of retrieval, or your husband will come into the clinic that day, and they, like, the husband will start laughing because I said it that way, and I'm like, that's not okay. I meant when your husband travels with you to the office, he will give his sample that day. And every time it comes out of my mouth and I hear laughing, I'm like, oh, I need to rephrase that. So, but yeah, they always get a kick out of it. But it's hard. You say
we're
things
all just prepubescent
Yeah.
teenagers.
Oh, yeah. You should see the questions on consult when you ask people, and people laugh. Or it's just, and it's like,
We're all children.
For sure. Okay. A friend told me to just relax and it'll happen. So I did. I booked a massage, took a bubble bath, drank chamomile tea, listened to binaural beats, and even tried goat yoga. Guess what? Still infertile. Now also sore, bloated, and mad at a goat named Kevin.
Oh, poor Kevin. Kevin caught a stray. Oh.
See, and there's all these natural things that people try, and again, the, like, just relax and it'll happen, like, not helpful.
I do want to try the goat yoga, though, one day. I really want to. I just think that they're just, like, these little baby goats, and they're so cute. I'm not sure how I would feel if it, like, pooped on my back or something. I don't know. Obviously, I feel like I might feel a little bit differently.
I know. We'll have to have Erin incorporate that into Fertile Hope.
Right. That's right.
That's, like, pretty popular now, is goat yoga. I feel like I've seen that, like, everywhere.
Yeah, I was actually watching King's Court, which is, like, a show that's been around for, like, the last couple of years or whatever. Or I think it was called Queen's Court, but then now there's a King's Court version. Anyways, so there's, like, 3 male celebrities. One of them's Tyson Beckford. One of them's, like, a WWE wrestler. And then one of them is, like, an former NBA player. And then they, like, it's like a dating show. So, like, a lot of women come on there and they're, like, going on dates and trying to match or whatever. And find their queen. And they went on, like, first dates or whatever the other day. So it was, like, one guy and a few girls, and they went for goat yoga, and one girl was, like, super into it, and, like, oh my gosh, this is just having the best time, and the other girl was like, I don't want to be here, I want to be anywhere. Like, why is this goat touching me?
Oh,
like, oh
my gosh. That's so funny.
Yeah. So he was like, I guess he was, like, more drawn to the girl that was into it, because the other girl, like, she was, like, visibly uncomfortable with it. And he was like, well, I wanted her to be able to do it and like it, but she was like, this is not for me.
Not
like,
having it. That is so funny. Oh.
Okay, let's see. Let's see. Okay. Wait, I'm lost.
Actually, I have two more. I don't know.
Okay. So I said when the nurse called me mom. Okay. So I peed on a stick, saw a maybe line, took a picture, brightened it, changed the contrast, flipped it to black and white, and sent it to 3 group chats like, is this real or am I crazy? One friend said yes. One said no. One said to stop testing and call my therapist. Naturally, I tested again 10 minutes later. Still Delulu, still not pregnant.
Oh. And I feel like, okay, well, this is so common, and you've even said, like, I've taken a part test.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But,
take them outside.
Yeah, and I hear, like, a lot of people, like, I was part of egg freezing groups for a while when I froze my eggs, and people, would go on later to use their eggs, and they would say, is this just an evap line?
Yeah.
Or they would say, what's it called when you invert the photo? Like you invert the colors to see if there's a line.
I think that's what she was talking about. Yeah. Like it's something with like the, making it basically like, it looks like an x-ray kind of or something, but then, yeah. So you can kind of see the line, if there is one, like better than just the picture. Yeah.
And it's so funny because I feel like I'm at a, like, part of my life to where my TikToks are like half and half. I get the videos of like where girls are like taking pregnancy tests in their college dorm and they're like, they want it to be negative, and then I have the infertility side of it where they're like begging for this, obviously they're hoping for this like positive pregnancy test, and it's like, so hard. And after embryo transfers, we've talked about where people will like test out their HCG and then they'll try and watch the line get darker, and they'll label them, and there's just so, that's hard.
It's so hard. Yeah, absolutely. You're just like hoping, wishing, praying that there's going to be another line there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I drank half a latte before my transfer. Half a latte. Then I spiraled. Googled caffeine and implantation for 45 minutes. Called my acupuncturist. Laid upside down for 20 minutes. Lit a sage bundle. Finally, I made peace with it. Then my embryo didn't stick. Guess who still thinks about that latte?
Oh. That guilt, like, that we put on ourselves is difficult. Like, it's just, yeah. But, like, also, girl, you okay with that latte? Like, you can have 200 milligrams of caffeine a day. Like, it's, I'm sure a latte is like a lesser caffeinated coffee product, I feel like, isn't it?
It is. And a shot of espresso is actually 75 milligrams of caffeine. And so you can have 2 shots and still have a little wiggle room of espresso.
Still have a soda or something.
Yeah, so you're fine. You're fine. But again, we get so caught up in these, like, minute details.
What did I do that caused this not to work out in my favor? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and I think, we're our worst enemy when it comes to stuff like that. So, yeah, no, you're fine with the latte. That did not cause your embryo transfer to fail.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It was day 3 of progesterone shots, and my boyfriend was finally getting the hang of it. Lining up the needle, wiping the spot, doing the little booty jiggle for good luck. So imagine my surprise when he knelt down after the shot and said, "While I've got you here," and pulled out an engagement ring. I was literally standing there, pants around my ankles, with a heating pad stuck to my butt. We're getting married next spring. Our first dance will be to the sound of an alcohol white packet opening.
Oh my gosh. Well, that, takes it to a new level of, like, trying to make it romantic.
That's right.
And sweet. He was trying to, like, make it, like, a sweet moment before you were doing it. But, like,
It's memorable for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure that's just a guy thing. They need a little extra guidance, but that was the sweet thought.
Right. The intention was there.
Yeah, the intention was there. The last one I have, it's actually one of my friend's stories. I told her I would let her be anonymous. But she was like, I saw your, like, TMI Tuesday things on your podcast, And she's like, I'm not going to write it in, but, like, the story. She's told it to me before. She's like, and you're welcome to tell it. And so at the time, her and her husband had been trying to conceive for a while. And I didn't have this job yet. I think I was still working in ortho trauma. So this was like 4 or 5 years ago. And she sent me this article about, hey, I've heard that if after you have sex, you put a menstrual cup in, that, it'll hold the sperm up there, and then it's like easier to get pregnant because it's holding the sperm. And I was like, I don't know. I guess it wouldn't hurt to try. So she does. She puts this menstrual cup in, and she's like, how long do you think I should leave it in for? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, what does your article say? And so she's like, okay. So I think she left it in like a day. I don't know. And she was texting me, and I was out of town at the time, and she was like, hey, I can't get this menstrual cup out. Can you come help me? And I was like, no, I'm like not even in town, but like, look it up. It's still there. I can't go anywhere. Where's it gonna go? And I was like, if you bear down and you like push, it can push the cervix down. Like maybe sit. She was like, no, I've tried everything. Like I've tried every position and I can't get it out. So she ended up going to like an ER to get this menstrual cup out. And she's like, not only am I embarrassed that like I can't get this menstrual cup out, but now I'm like, oh my God, is a bunch of sperm just gonna fall out when they like pull it out? And she's like, that was miserable, like never again. And the menstrual cup thing has come up a bunch, and I guess to this day we're always like, anytime somebody brings up the menstrual cup, we just look at her and she just is like, oh my God, never again. But that was like one of her stories that she was like, you could share it, but let me be anonymous. It's like, okay.
Don't say which friend.
Yes. So
I know. I actually have seen that. I've never tried it myself, but I have seen in like TTC groups or whatever, like people saying that. And like, I mean, I guess in theory, like I understand, like obviously why it like it can't hurt anything.
Yeah.
Like, obviously.
Other than your ego, maybe.
Right.
But yeah, it can't hurt.
If you now have to go to the ER to have it removed, like, yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, that was her story. I told her. She gave me permission to share it.
That's funny. Okay, let's see. Our RE said we needed to have sex at 9 p.m. on the dot for the next 4 days. Romantic, right? Except on day 2, I had food poisoning from bad sushi at 8:58 p.m. I was in a fetal position on the bathroom floor. At 9 p.m., my husband opened the door and asked, should we still try? I threw a roll of toilet paper at him.
Oh, well, and we've talked about this. It's so hard when sex feels scheduled because it's not like the spontaneous, fun thing probably that it used to be anymore.
Yeah.
And, the cool part about if we trigger you, if you're doing timed intercourse, you have a positive ovulation predictor kit. Once you get that positive surge or we trigger you, that egg will ovulate 24 to 36 hours later, and that egg is good for 24 hours. So, you can actually have sex the day of the positive, or the day of the positive OPK or the trigger, the day after. So you do have a little bit of leeway. Sperm does stay in the reproductive tract for about 5 days. So the days leading up to and the day of ovulation, you are good. So there is some leeway there just in case you end up in a situation like that.
I'm sorry. I realized that I was a jerk and I read one of your stories.
You're good. You're good. That was
I was like, why do we have a different number of stories?
I had that pulled up on my phone when you started reading it, and I was like, next. But we do love hearing all of your guys' stories. And I know I said your guys. I have people write me on TikTok correcting about English.
Stop.
Yeah. Anyway, I know I say things not right all the time. But anyway.
Oh, give us some grace sometimes. We're just people too.
But we love hearing from you guys and hearing all of your stories. And you could submit them on our page, sandwifefertility.com/fertilish. We have a submission form on there.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Our Instagram's a Fertilish Podcast Instagram. getting to hear your stories, the funny side of trying to conceive, things you've went through, tips for other people. We would love to share them, questions. So make sure you submit.
Yeah, I think even the embarrassing ones, obviously, it just helps other people to know that, like, oh my God, I'm so glad I wasn't the only one this happened to.
Yeah, and it's, Laura has shared her story about embryo transfers, and having to pee right away, and there's just community and laughing and in this process. So
Yeah, for sure, absolutely.
all right. Well, hopefully this was able to make you laugh and lift spirits a little bit. And we will see you guys next week.
Yeah, see you next week.